Thank you for the kind introduction, and I would like to thank you everyone from the Casual Connect organization who made this event happen today. So let's give them a round of applause. Okay, so I hope we are pumped up now. My name is Aun TARASEINA from Kira Games. We are the developer of Unblock Me, and my speak will be on key points for indie success globally. These key points are actual key points from our experience that contribute to the success of Unblock Me throughout the 4 years we've been working on it. And the most exciting part now that is that none of this data have been in public before. This is the first time we are releasing this data, so I hope you find this presentation helpful for your business, have a deeper insight of Unblock Me, and hopefully a deeper insight of the industry in total. Okay, the clickers. Okay, before we start, let's have a quick look into Kira Games and who we are. Kira Game is an independent company based in Thailand with 11 developers, and we were established in 2011 with, well, with our only main game so far, that is Unblock Me, which is available on iOS, Android, and HTML5. A quick introduction to what Unblock Me is. Unblock Me is a board game where your main goal is to slide that red block over there out of the board. You have to do that by navigating the other blocks out of its way. So Unblock Me was released two versions, Unblock Me Free and Unblock Me Paid. Unblock Me Free to date have over 76 million downloads, which is an extremely amazing and humbling experience for us. In 2012, Apple announced that we were 17th most downloaded application of all time. And in 2009, we were also most downloaded application of the year. For Unblock Me Paid, we are selling it at 99 cents, and we have well over 1.4 million downloads. It was published in Korea by GameView in August 2012 and published in Japan by Quan Inc. in March 2013. So let's get started with the 6 key points we learned from the 4 years working with Unblock Me. The first key point I would like to introduce is that you have to create the best product you can. Be great at creativity, execution, and innovation, but don't over-innovate your game. And it's oftentimes that I see a lot of developers try to go crazy with innovation and change the way users play their game. Game is still a form of entertainment. You have to make sure your first priority is the game is super fun and super addictive. Innovation still have to play a part, but it have to be at a certain level where users can still relate to. And to give Unblock Me as an example of how we were able to make many small innovative features that really propel us in the market. Here are some of the features we had when no one did. You have to remember our game was released 4 years ago, so at that time the market is still very early. The first feature we had was real-time hints, and before that, users, when they got stuck on a puzzle, the only way they could solve a puzzle was that they had to close the app. They had to close the app and go to YouTube for solutions, and go for Unblock Me cheat websites for solutions, or email us for solutions, and that created a bad user experience. It limited the time users would spend in our app and also create frustration for users. So we eventually added real-time hints, and then we later on used our hint system as our virtual currency, where users could buy more hints and earn more hints by engaging with ads. Oops, I'm sorry. And the second innovative feature we had is that we added replay value to our puzzles. We did that by rating each puzzle with difficulties, and also each time a user solves a puzzle, they will be rated by stars. If they were able to find the best solution, they will earn 3 stars. This added a tremendous replay value to our puzzles, where users have already completed the puzzles but have not found the best solution yet. They will keep trying and trying and trying to find the best solution. And the third feature is that we made sure there's a puzzle for everyone. We did that by understanding that users have different competitive behavior and have different problem-solving skills. So we added 2 game modes, one for the competitive type and one for the non-competitive type, and 5 different difficulties. In those 5 different difficulties, we added many more thousands of puzzles. So as you can see, we didn't really change the way how the game is played. We just made sure that users playing our game are having the best user experience they can. We kept our game very simple, slick, intuitive, and clean, making sure that the user experience on each platform blends with the platform. And if you look into many other successful games, they all took very similar routes. The second key point is that you have to have a business model for your app. And actually, you should have a business plan, but for our topic, I'll just be covering the business model part. Before you even start working on your game, you have to identify your customers, your platform, and your costs and competitions. You have to be able to design your game around the business model that would monetize from your customers and platform. Different segments of users and different platforms have to be monetized accordingly. And for us, for example, the only way we can monetize on Android is by using ads. And if you're going to use in-app purchase, you have to make sure that your customer segment are using credit cards, for example. So Unblock Me was released in a traditional way. We have the paid version and the free version. But what we are doing right now is that we are slowly converting our free version to a freemium model, where users can buy more virtual currency and buy more in-game content. So to help you decide whether to go premium or freemium, here's a revenue compare of Unblock Me throughout the last 16 months. As you can see, Unblock Me Premium versus Unblock Me Freemium. And in January 2012, as you can see that, the premium is displayed with the red bar, and the freemium is displayed with the green bar. As you can see, in January 2012, about 65% of our revenue comes from the paid version. But as time progresses, you can see a very ongoing trend that is losing its ground to the free version. And if we compare year by year, our revenue is actually increasing. So that means that the paid version is actually losing a lot more percentage than what you can compare here. And for us, the 3 main reasons for that is that, one, for paid version, you only get to charge once. But for the free version, as long as you keep your users engaged, you can continuously monetize from those active users. So you have to keep your users engaged. And the second reason is that ads are getting more and more creative. Ads right now are bringing in more higher eCPM for developers and also acquiring more users for developers as well. So that's very important to the ecosystem. And number 3, if you go to the top grossing charts, you'll see a very, very good indication. Around 80 to 90% of the apps there are free apps. So it's an indication that users' behavior are changing. They want to pay first. They want to try first and then pay later. Here are some of the ways we monetize in Unblock Me Free. We monetize the first way, the most popular one is in-app purchase, and we also have traditional banner ads, and the newest ones are engagement ads, which users have to engage to earn hints. Users have to engage to earn real life items. Those bring in very high eCMP for us as well. The third key point is you have to go with multi-platform. You have to start with a multi-platform tool from the start. And here are some of the tools that Kiro Games would like to recommend to other indie developers. That is Cocos 2DX with Marmalade and Unity 3D, which works very well. And the reason you should go with multi-platform is because there are so many distribution channels on many different platforms. And each distribution channels have its own strengths to monetize. As an indie developer, you want to be on as many distribution channels as you can to with the lowest cost you can to maximize your profit, right? So that's one of the reasons. And to give you a better idea how revenue compares between platform, I'm sorry, here's a chart that displays our revenue compared by iOS and Android. Android is displayed with the green bar, and iOS is displayed with the gray bar. This is the last 16 months of our revenue compared. So as you can see before this, most of our revenue have been coming from the iOS counterpart. Even though in terms of downloads, iOS have 39 million downloads and Android have 37 million downloads, which are only 2 millions apart. But as you can see that the difference is so much. But what we did is in around mid 2012, we started investing in local publishing deals. We start working with partners that would help us with local publishings. And as you can see that there's a very huge spike in March 2013 on the Android platform and April as well. That is when our local publishing deals starting to generate revenue for us. So while in the past, our Android platform have not generated as much revenue as we hope, we have very high hopes for it in the future. With that in mind, let's get to the fourth key point. We'll talk a little bit more about local publishing in this slide as well. The fourth key point is you have to find different partners with different specialties. For a long-lasting partnership to work out, each party have to be equally beneficial. That is very important. And important partners that you should find are local publishers that could help you publish your game in local areas on the Android platform, of course. And those are very important in Asia, especially in countries like Japan, Korea, and China. There are also many new emerging countries as well. And partners that can help you monetize your revenue and partners with new emerging platforms. For Kiro Games, for example, Kwon Inc. helped us publish our game in Japan. The best thing about this partnership is that they also help us find new business opportunities in Japan as well. We are talking to many companies over there. And we are also an official Google AdMob partner. Other than helping us monetize on both iOS and Android platform, they also give us very good advices on user experience on the Android platform. And for Keep, I think many of you have already met me outside. You will know that my first pitch line for Unblock Me is that we have 76 million downloads. And the thing with that pitch line is that I want to find partners that can help us monetize that number. I want people, indie developers, ad network or anything, who can have some creative way to help us find more business opportunity to work with us. And Keep did exactly that. They were able to give us an exclusive ad campaign that drove only to Kira Games, and we were also able to drive the highest impressions in their network. Till today, we are still #1. So, and users are also happy because they get real deals, real life rewards from this ad network as well. So, everyone in this equation is happy. The fifth key point is very important. You have to understand how users are playing your game and get feedback from your users. You have to put analytics in your application and understand why users are leaving your game. And as you might already know, there's different segments of users, and different segments of users have to be monetized differently. You don't want to send ads to your what they call big whale segment. And if there's a non-paying users, you want to send ads to them as well. So So the main purpose of analyzing your data is because you want to keep your users playing your game as long as they can and keep users playing your game as often as they can. Because the more you engage, the more your users engage, the more opportunities you have to monetize from them. This is something we did around 2 years ago. We round up a very group of die-hard Unblock Me players, and we sent them an update on our Android platform. We asked them for their feedback, and what we got was very, very interesting because some of the feedback were when users couldn't solve puzzle, they would be very frustrated, even without the sheets and stuff. So that was the time we start selling hints to them, and they became more happy. And now we are selling hints pretty okay, so which is good. We also found out that a lot of the users were hooked with the achievements, so we added more achievements. And then we found out users had already completed all the puzzles. This was very amazing for us. I never thought that someone would actually play and complete every puzzle. For the free version on Android, we had roughly around 6,000 to 8,000 puzzles. So we had made committed to them that we will be updating more puzzles regularly. I actually met someone in the event yesterday, and he actually showed his phone with Unblock Me on it, and he completed all the puzzles. It was very amazing for me to meet him in real person. So the sixth key point is branding. I would like to add marketing as well, but the thing with marketing is that it's a very complex market right now. You can't not do one thing to be successful. You have to do, in terms of being in indie, you cannot use those big budgets to really drive your app anywhere. So I'll just be talking on the branding part, and if you are interested in talking with marketing, I'll be at my booth in the showcase. So about branding. Branding is how you want your game, your company, and yourself to be perceived. You have to recognize that everything is about branding. Everything about your game, about yourself, about your company is branding. And the message you send about your brand should be persistent across the board, whether it's your game on iOS, your game on Android, or your game on Facebook, or how you interact with your users, or such as email, Twitter, or fan page. You have to remember there's 800,000 or 700,000 apps in each store. You have to help your users identify your product more easily by branding. So the best suggestions that I could give you is get your game trademarked. It will save you time from proving ownership, and it will also protect your consumers from being confused. We have a lot of issues with piracy in the past. So that will be my speak. And are there any questions? Okay, sure.
Hello, thank
Hi.
you very much for the presentation. I have a question about the slide that you showed where the Android part of your revenue was jumping really sharply on 1 month. You said that some almost a year ago, before that, you started monetizing differently, but why did the jump was so sharp, and particularly in that month?
Actually, what we did was that we start investing in local publishing deal. So the peak you see is that our local publishing deal started to be live on the App Store over our local countries.
Was it the one specific country, or like all of the countries?
For local publishing Android, it's going to always be Japan for us.
Okay, thanks.
And I think a lot of developers will also be Japan as well, because you can't. The US are very saturated on the Google Play and Android. They want, and Japan, they want local content.
Okay, we just had time for one question. If you have any more questions, you can meet him at inside the
initial
showcase
showcase
at the Unblock Me booth. So yeah, thanks.
Thank you.